What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is CHEESECAKE.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Listen, you're gonna want to pour yourself a cup of coffee for this one for sure, bro. Brew yourself a cup of coffee. Don't worry, I'll wait. Do you guys remember the woman who turned down the golden, irreversible opportunity to go to the Cheesecake Factory? Well, of course you do. Well, she sat down with the guy from the date on a podcast. Now we're talking about the guy who stood his ground and decided he was no longer going to be disrespected by a woman who thought she was too good for the Cheesecake Factory for a first date. Now, they had a conversation. Shout out to Kevin Wesley from the Truth Factor. I'll make sure that I have his link pinned to the top of the comment section. So make sure you guys check if you want to know where the original video is from. No more wasting time, man. Let's get it.
So, now here we are. A few weeks later, I'm sure you've had some time to think about what you guys discussed in the car. I'm sure you've had some time to think about it. Before I ask you any questions, have you guys had a second date?
No.
No second dates?
Not yet.
Okay.
Did I just hear not yet? Come on, man. Don't. Let's get into the story. She's still waiting for that second chance.
So I'll start with you, Jay. What has dating been like for you since that video went viral?
Since I was on the video, kind of unexpected, I might not have put my best foot forward, you know? And so I feel like, I've not really met anyone since who I've really gotten to get to know like that, because a lot of women, they might have seen the video or might have heard from it, or maybe a friend of theirs has seen the video and shares it with them. And so they kind of had this image of me based on the video.
Absolutely.
And it hasn't really helped.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like they might think everything about me is reflected in that video, and I don't think it is. And but yeah, it's been difficult.
Sure.
Well, and it's even before this, you know, dating has already been difficult for me. You know?
I imagine your views kind of clash with what you're looking for and what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think so. Because, I mean, I think in general, my values kind of reflect wanting to build something that lasts.
Yes, sir.
And I want to make sure that anyone that I meet is willing to build a really strong foundation based on our mutual values. And I think it in general, a lot of the people that I meet, either they don't have time to set towards building something like that, or they just don't want to because, you know, they're younger, they want to experience, you know, casual dating or whatever it is.
All right, so hey, I'm just gonna keep it real right now. I think he's being too nice. I think his DMs are flooded, right? And then there's another side of me, and I have to say this. It's sitting here going, I hope for the sake of this chick, this is an orchestrated event, right? As in a skit, but it's just like the video I did yesterday, man. These scenarios take place and they happen. And what's even crazier than that is you will see the people in the comment section supporting the delusional mindset of that chick on the date. And you realize that, wait, no, this is definitely possible. But I'm surprised to hear him say, oh yeah, I'm struggling still, but that's besides the point, man. Just had to say it. Let's keep watching.
And it's just not something that I'm looking for right now.
Understood. So obviously, guys, Jay's saying that they have a negative, they're viewing him in a negative light when it comes to dating. When I saw Jay, I saw someone who was making some excellent points, who knew what he wanted, and he's actually now like a Giga Chad in the manosphere world, in the red pill community. The brother's being mentioned everywhere for the way he handled that conversation. Now I'm going to ask Alicia as well, because during this conversation, Alicia.
Thank you.
We'll get that right. Okay, so Alicia, You didn't seem to really disagree with what he was saying. Now, you had definitely a different opinion before he gave you his mind, right? But you seemed very receptive to it. Can you explain to me kind of what you were thinking and how you saw him in that video? Because he's saying they took him in a negative light. What do you think?
Well, yes, I think once we had the conversation, I could see my role in the conflict.
Okay, okay.
Ma'am, you were the conflict. What's she talking about?
Let's back up a little bit. To be fair, I mean, I was always raised that the man is supposed to cater to you. I mean, you're courting me, so court me. That means wherever I want to go, you take me.
Absolutely.
Whatever I want, you buy me. That's courting. You know, I'm looking for a provider. So
Who's raising women up like this? Ma'am, you're supposed to cater to the man and be so pleasant, so kind, and so feminine and great to be around with that he wants to treat you well and occasionally spoil you. Let's keep listening.
But after the conversation, I could see how there was a lot of
Okay.
in that exchange.
Absolutely.
I was definitely very self-centered, and I can appreciate if I do want someone to provide for me, I at least gotta be a little bit nice.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay, great. So now I ask you this, based on your idea of dating before your conversation with Jay, how did you grow up? Who also thinks that way? I'm sure you have friends who think that way. I've heard it a lot.
I mean,
Okay, so-
everybody. I mean, that's what he's supposed to be, the provider.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and I'm a beautiful woman, so I'm expecting to be treated like royalty. I mean, come on.
And here we thought progress was coming. Look at the guy in the front. Just we got to get that screenshot. He's like, wait, what? He thought she learned. Must be a modern woman. All right. There's no hope. There's no hope for this chick, guys. And she represents like more than 50% of women out here. I'm royalty.
So that's
But
what I
the
was
kicker
doing.
is, how do we treat him? And that's
Right,
where the
right.
disconnect was.
Right.
In the video, now of course I'm sure you think of it differently now, but in the video you basically told him that, you know, you're not going in there, you know your value. It would be embarrassing for you to go inside a Cheesecake Factory. A lot of people like Cheesecake Factory. Now, so when I see that video, I'm thinking, okay, she must have some friends who probably would disagree with her going inside a Cheesecake Factory. Your peer group. So
I would
peer
never-
pressure probably keeps
I
you
would
from.
never live that. Oh my God! I would have never lived that down.
Wow,
I
just
mean-
ate the Cheesecake Factory. They wouldn't let you live that down.
No, I have an image to protect.
This has to be a joke, bro. It's got to be a joke. It has to be. You know what's funny is that all the women that talk about like, I've got an image to protect, are the same women who will let all types of pookies hit it from the back, fast, not slow.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Right? Your image does not matter when we look at the Carfax. But here I am assuming, guys, which I probably shouldn't. Let's keep listening.
Wow.
Nikia does not do that. I mean, that was, you know, that was my circle, though. That's how.
Sure.
I mean, that's how we roll.
Sure.
I mean, to be quite blunt, that's how we roll. Hypergamy is a big, thing in my circle. Is what I mean. It's what we've been taught. Why? I mean, as a black woman, I'm gonna go there. I mean, as a black woman,
Please spare us.
we're really tired of having to settle. We want to be treated well. We want that soft life. So that's what I thought I was going after. However, what I understand is a part of having a soft life is being cooperative,
Being soft.
not being combative,
You're
right?
Actually being soft.
Right,
Right.
right.
Being receptive, being
Right.
sweet.
Absolutely.
Being pleasant. Right. Because we do understand the value of resources. but it can't be just something for a lifestyle. Resources, a man's resources is not just for a woman's experiences and traveling and the lifestyle they'll live when married is for providing for the family and the children. And that's why she should seek a man and, respect his resources or prioritize his resources, not just for what it can do for her. Right. And so when you were in the beginning of it, you was just saying, I'm not doing it. It seemed really selfish. Right. And I appreciated that when I saw the video myself. That's one of the things I covered is, wow, I've never seen a woman that receptive to being accountable. Right.
Hold on there. Receptive. I didn't see that in the video, guys. Maybe I'm missing something. Comment down below. What do you guys think so far, man? Are you with me? Let's keep watching.
And you were. But Jay, however, didn't want to go out on a date. He wanted to discontinue that date and he wanted to take it on to the house. Jay, is that your first time stopping a date midway through and going on back home, or?
Yeah, something like that's, I'm sorry, at least, yeah. That's the first time I've really
Good guy, apologizing, a little bit too nice. Probably should cut that out if you ask me. Let's keep listening.
Put my foot down to that kind of extent, but it's not like an isolated incident, Like I've gone on dates with several people now, even before her, where they had very specific things they were looking for in a boyfriend or whatever, and even within my own circles, right? And that's just not something that I'm looking for, because I was raised like we were talking about how she was raised, whereas with me, like my family, like we've passed down the name for ages, and we're a very close-knit, strong family.
You've passed down your first name, Jay? Like
yes.
Your father's and father.
Yeah,
How many generations, probably?
I mean, I couldn't really count it myself.
Wow.
Because I mean, the thing is, like, I'm from India.
Okay.
And the partition happened where, like, India was separated from Pakistan. And a lot of my family were on both sides of that, and we had to come back together.
Wow.
And we had to, it was very important for us to stay strong after the fact. At the time, maybe we didn't care as much about creating this legacy, but ever since, it's like that's been one of the strongest parts of our family, is the importance in creating our legacy. And with that in mind, like, I've grown up with the idea that I want a strong family here now that I'm living in America. The only kind of relationships I seek are ones where that is the only value. That is the biggest value. That is the most important thing for the other person as well as for me.
Wow. That's actually powerful. So your family going through all that they did, it caused you guys to really idealize relationships, right? And
specifically relationships that last.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so here you are in America dating.
Yeah.
And
with modern women trapped. It's not like India. It's definitely a Western country where you've got a lot of this.
Culture where you stated earlier you were a black woman. Of course, we have been through some things, right? In our culture here in the States and throughout the whole diaspora, I like using that word. But a lot of times our culture has been stripped and we haven't yet began to idealize relationships, so we're more so going along with the flow. So here he is in America and he's meeting a woman who is in America and she sees dating the way Americans see dating. And so I can see the clash in that.
Yeah.
He's looking at you as if that's selfish. You're looking at him as if, he's treating you beneath your worth, your actual value. So here's what I want to do, guys. I want to go back a bit. Can y'all tell me how y'all met? I want you to tell me how you guys met.
So I was in Midtown, and I barely even have time to go out with friends and all that. But it was a really close friend's birthday, so I went to get some drinks for the first time in ages, and I saw this beautiful woman who it seemed like every other guy in the bar was either intimidated by or too shy to talk to.
Cap. Let's keep watching.
And I thought, what the hell? Why not? And she was, minding her own business.
And not that he's lying, guys. I just mean the whole intimidated factor.
Business, and I asked her, her name, Alicia, and I thought that's a beautiful name. And even despite how loud it was in the bar, we were still able to talk a little here and there. And I got her number, and she had to go. And so we kept talking after that for a little bit, and then like a week later, I asked her, "You want to go out to this restaurant?"
Yeah.
And I told her it would be a surprise. And maybe that might be a problem on my part. It might have raised the expectations a little bit. But I guess the surprise ended up being Cheesecake Factory, where
Right.
the original surprise was...
I want to get to that. You had something else planned for her, right?
Yeah.
Because of how the evening went, the Cheesecake Factory happened, right?
Yeah.
So
Can I just say before
Sure.
I love the Cheesecake Factory, and it's a place that I've gone to for like every birthday. So like it wasn't just like a random restaurant to me. It was also like a place that I've gone with my family.
Okay, so this is just a side note, guys. This is starting to feel very real. This whole situation. A lot goes on the internet. But yeah, he has some emotional attachment to the Cheesecake Factory. And you guys already know how I view first dates. Coffee is the best way to go for it, especially today. Especially when you have people like the chick that I just did a video to, who had a list of restaurants ready to send to any man who asks her out on her date so she can try all these different restaurants. And you just can better decipher who's really going to that date to meet you, get to know you, if they're serious about you and dating and not just there for the experience. What's up, YouTube? Listen, real quick, it's time to talk about the sponsor of today's video. And it could be you. Hear me out. If you enjoy the content produced here on the Coffee Pod, you can support by drinking coffee through one of my handcrafted coffee mugs right here. I've talked about this before, but I haven't gone into detail about what exactly goes into this coffee mug. What you see written around the mug there, all the different taglines from the Coffee Pod. Everybody knows the
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
and
Women.
along with.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
So I first start with the plain black mug for your project. Then I clean and prep the mug so I can add my beautiful handwriting. Listen, guys, I'm a podcaster, not an artist. I try my best. I then use an oil-based marker to write all the different taglines that we all love from the Coffee Pod. And once that's done, and hopefully there's not too many mistakes, but it happens a lot, I leave the mugs to dry for about an hour. That's when I begin prepping the art resin, which I would then use to apply and seal your custom mug, the outside of your mug. The resin works great to protect the writing once it's cured and firm. The curing process usually takes about 72 hours, and then bam, the resin is fully cured and firm. And finally, after 4 days, your custom mug is ready to be packaged and sent directly to your doorstep. In other words, for less than $2 an hour, I will handcraft a custom coffee mug for you, and you get to support the channel. Why would you drink coffee from some boring mug from some random store? And the worst part is they probably don't drink coffee. Hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section and get your custom mug today.
Click the link pinned to the top of the comment section to get your custom coffee mug today. And please do us all a favor and don't bitch about the price.
Let's keep listening.
Throughout my entire life, and I love Cheesecake Cat.
So you didn't. So obviously the because you guys were late, she wasn't ready. You weren't able to take her to the restaurant that you wanted to take her to. You figured I can't go wrong with the Cheesecake Factory. Right?
Yeah.
It's my old birthday restaurant. You know,
It's my lucky.
she'll love it.
And that's the lucky spot too at the perimeter.
Lucky spot. Okay, we'll come back to that. Well, no, I'm kidding with you.
Okay.
Alicia.
Yeah.
So Jay, you see Jay walking up to you in the bar, say Midtown. He's walking up to you. He's gonna talk with you. There are other guys around you. Did you notice those guys probably want to talk to you? Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
So what made you say, okay, I'm going to give this guy a chance? What was it about him?
Well, he was bold enough to come up and talk to me for
Confidence,
one.
okay.
So yes, I definitely am attracted to confidence.
Mm-hmm.
He just seemed like he had a pure heart. He was, very thoughtful, engaging.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only he won me over. He did win me over, but I'm a tall woman, and so there wasn't necessarily like that immediate attraction. But as we began to talk, it was really his heart that made me say, I'll give this guy a try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you draw your line? Is that typically you don't date guys who are, guys have to be at least your height or taller before you would date them?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, I understand that. That probably makes it difficult finding someone suitable for yourself. You are what, 6'1", 6?
I'm almost 6'1", yes.
Almost 6'1".
Damn. No, I'm just messing with you. What do you guys think of tall women, man? I've actually in my past dated some tall women. Some, kind of pushing it, a little bit tall. Man, I'm about 6 foot. What do you guys think of that? Comment down below. Let's keep listening.
Wow. So that means, let's see, 14.5% of men are at least 6 feet, right? But that next 2 inches for you to find someone taller than you, that's 3.6% of men in the entire world that are tall enough that are they're at least 6'2".
I know.
Is that discouraging?
I mean, I only need one. I only need to.
You need one, but he needs to be that height. He needs to make the resources, right?
Yeah.
He needs to be funny. He needs to be charismatic. He needs to be disciplined. And that doesn't discourage you? Like,
I'm an optimist. But no.
No, ma'am, you are delusional. Delusional. And of course, guys, a provider, 6 foot tall, etc. You're all looking for that man, not just you, ma'am. Most women today, the short and the tall ones. And the shorter ones have a better chance.
and I like
Yeah,
it. I like
but
it.
no, I mean,
An optimist.
logically speaking, I understand what you're saying. I've heard this many times, but I haven't given up on, I hadn't given up on that. But I'm actually open. I really enjoyed our conversation, so I would consider.
Well, sure. And I was going to commend you for that. I didn't see it as I know you're saying that they have to be that height, but it seems that you are willing to, make an exception. Just like you did for Jay here when he walked up and he had the confidence of a 6'2" man. You were willing to at least hear what he had to say, and that's a good thing. Because it may not be the cookie cutter thing that you plan out. So if we're going to look for a happy relationship, a harmonic one that gives our children and our lineage what they need for years and generations to come, right? We may have to make an exception or two, right?
Yeah. Sometimes it's not what we want; it's what we need, and we have to be more open to what we need.
That's absolutely true. I was going to say, when it comes to how we date, I think a lot of it is just the information that we have, right? So what I noticed from yours and Alicia's conversation, Jay, is that you had a different view of altogether of what dating should look like leading up to a relationship, and she had a different view. And now,
like, what I should say is, I mean, at the very end of the day, like, I understand dating in America is different from where my family's from.
It's a shit show. You can say, bro, it's okay. Say it, it's okay. Let's keep watching.
And in a way, like, it's perfectly fine to have those views and to think of dating differently. I just think, for me, I have a very specific criteria.
I'll translate. I'm not dealing with that shit. And what he meant when he said it's perfectly fine, he actually meant to say it's perfectly fine to die alone, if that's what you really want to do.
And it's not a long list of criteria, but it's just certain values that I
sure. Well, I think a lot like you. That's why the video stood out to me. I believe relationships should be harmonic. They should be for a reason. So I believe in dating with intent, right? Yeah. But many people in our generation today, they see dating as something that's just fun. They don't see it as a way to establish a healthy relationship. And that's what I was going to say. There's almost little to no understanding as to what dating should look like when you're trying to establish an intent for a meaningful relationship. And I think that's the biggest problem. It's not so much that people are necessarily selfish or entitled. It's more so that they don't know what they're looking for, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Oftentimes we think we know, but we really don't.
Right.
Some people are selfish and entitled.
Right. So when he asked you the question, you expect men to go all out on a date, huh? You said absolutely. If he likes her, he should present that, right?
Yes.
He should lead and be masculine. He should be willing to pay for the meal, show up on time, open doors for her, the whole nine. But when he asked you, what does a woman expect you to do? You said, look good, be there. And that's where the
disconnect was. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because there should be things that a woman should do, right? So
I want to be nice.
If you've thought about that, could you tell me some of what you think now, if he were to ask you that question today?
Sure. If you think about, watching the video, it's like, how do you expect this person to keep giving, and you're not giving anything back? So now we're depleted.
Absolutely.
And so who's going to pour into him?
Wow.
So, I mean, if you truly do want that type of protection provider, there has to be some balance.
Absolutely.
So.
Wow, that's very powerful. I actually took the liberty to make a list of things that men and women should look for in each other on a date, right? I'm gonna read them to you. I want you guys to tell me what you think of in the end, okay? Let's start with what you're looking for in a man, okay? So what a woman looks for in a man is respect and courtesy. Would you say I'm wrong? Confidence, right?
Yeah.
Communication skills.
Absolutely.
Knowing what he wants, where he's going with it, right?
Yes.
Initiative, taking the initiative. Chivalry.
Yes.
Okay. Resilience.
Yes.
Right. So even when you being a little bit, hard to get, he can push past that, right? The resilience. Generosity.
Yes.
Okay. So here are the behaviors that look good to a man when he's looking for a woman. I'm going to ask you the same questions. You tell me if you like the sound of that. Men are looking for kindness. Right. You want her to be really kind, really sweet, right? Pleasant. So what about active listening?
Yeah.
And you said when she got in the car, she was putting the makeup on and she wasn't really responding to you or responsive to you.
Yeah.
And you took from that she didn't like you much.
Yeah.
Right. Encouragement. And,
yes,
and you said that, being able to pour back into him, right? Positivity, right? So not being negative, having a smile on your face, right? Respect for independence.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Adaptability. Okay. There was this time where you wanted her to hold your arm, right? And walk you so you could walk her to the car, and she didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
You expressed to her that you didn't like that. And that made you feel like, of course, when her not being on your arm, how can you truly protect her, right? But also her not doing that says she ain't really feeling me like that.
Yeah.
She don't really like me like that.
And, I get, it was a first date. Maybe she's not
A bit too much. That was a bit too much.
at that stage yet. But
I get that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question. Let's just say you're out with him, right? You're on a date with a guy and some guy comes up, takes your purse. Do you want your date to have your back?
Yeah.
So
He has to protect me.
And even if he's not ready for that yet, right? Because he shouldn't even ask you on a date if he's not going to protect you if something were to happen to you. This is why you should take his arm. You see? So it may feel like I'm giving this guy too much of me, but it's more like I'm being cooperative to the roles that we're playing. He's going to protect me if something happens right now. And so I'm going to stand close to him. This lets the people on the outside looking in know that I'm with this man. He is taking care of me. We're out together, right?
There's a difference. The problem with the whole, put your arm there and we're going to walk we're a couple is she may just not be sure she wants that. But you can break a touch barrier by touching her when you're talking with her, maybe laying your hand on her lower back once in a while. There's little stuff you can do. But the whole expecting women to hold your hand, initiating contact in that way, is something a woman should do in most cases. And if you look back to times when you were holding hands with a chick or she did grab your arm, in most cases, women initiate that. Just look back, think back. Sometimes you're walking, she'll grab your hand, she'll pull you in. That's usually a sign that she feels safe with you, etc. And her attraction for you is building, right? So I wouldn't advise to initiate physical contact on the first date to that extent. If you build attraction on the date and it goes really well that first time, sometimes it takes a couple of dates, but if it goes well that first time, then you notice that the woman who initiates physical contact, either she'll grab your arm if it's cold or you're walking, or she'll want to hold hands with you. This doesn't usually happens. Usually you'll be able to tell by the end of the date. By the way, she'll hug you when you guys are parting ways, or, sometimes women are so attracted to the man that they'll let them smash, and they'll lie and say that they don't, but they do. That's modern women for you. Let's keep listening.
So
It's like, it kind of shows that you trust.
absolutely.
I think. I felt like
Trust is a big word.
What women get out of a date is
You cannot negotiate that type of attraction, right? You cannot. It's that genuine desire.
a free bodyguard, because if anything goes wrong with her, he has to really put his life on the line for her. So if a man asks you out on a date, you shouldn't say, I'm not ready to hold your hand. I know that seems like a move forward in a relationship, so to speak, but it's actually just part of a date. Your goal is to give him an example of what it would look like if you were his partner, and his goal is to do the same. So to a man, you not doing those things makes it appear that you're not that interested.
Definitely not ready to be a partner, I guess.
It also kills his ability to be completely masculine for you on that date, because if you won't take his arm, then,
I feel like when you just said like trust is a big word, it is a big word, but maybe the way I saw it is when you wanted to go out with me at all, that was you trusting me.
You're right.
And it did kind of hurt a little bit. I mean, again, I can respect boundaries, but it did still at the same time hurt my feelings if you didn't trust me.
And of course, as men, we're going to try to be receptive to that and understand where you're coming from. But it does kind of limit his ability to do his full, to be his full masculine self in that capacity, right?
Yeah.
The last thing I had here was intellectual stimulation, right? So we like when a woman can respond back and be attentive, right?
Yeah.
Have a good conversation, right? We look for that in women. And I definitely think she appeared to have that. You guys started off it was a little difficult conversation, but it seems like she understood you. She was receptive to what you were saying. Is that typical for you?
Well, typically a lot of the girls that I met, as I said, like they're literally only trying to date to date or to like have, I don't know, I'm allowed to use the word fuck
Sex?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. We're in hookup culture.
We're in a hookup culture, exactly.
Buzz
And so
cheeks,
they're just looking for that. And so it's
You
like,
should have been on the coffee pot.
sometimes it's not necessarily about the values or anything like that. Maybe it's like more small talk, maybe.
What he means is that they belong to the streets. My man needs an interpreter. I understand what's going on here. In short, he's just trying to say they're all 304s.
And maybe sometimes it feels like it's something that'll take more time to get her to open up or something like that. Where at the end of the day, they don't want a second date because we haven't gotten to know each other. And that to me sounds so irritating because you didn't want to get to know, we didn't get to know each other because they wouldn't want to talk.
Absolutely.
So it's like,
I completely understand. So as a man dating with intent, you're ending up in these situations where a lot of times you're in hookup culture. And so you're not getting a second date out of it. Meanwhile, here you are, you have spent your money, you spent time with this person who you're never going to likely see again.
Yeah.
Right? Women oftentimes are looking at dates as what they can get out of them, right? An experience, right? Take me to a nice restaurant. I want the ambiance. I want the treatment, right? And with no intent of doing anything special for the guy after the date. So it's almost like it's almost like she's getting over on him, right? Like she's using them for meals. And that's what men say. I'm not going to keep taking these women out if they don't like me. Don't go out if you don't like me, because then it wouldn't end up where he's on the outside looking into the thing. And what do women say oftentimes when he's upset? I took you to this restaurant, I did that, and now you don't want to get close to me, you're not ready. And she's like, well, you wanted to do it.
And if she likes you, she won't mind going on a coffee date with you for that first date. Doesn't mean you can't improve the dates with time, but she has to earn those dates.
She will let him spend knowing she's not interested in this man. Do you feel that that's wrong?
No, I don't like users. So, I mean, I do think I think that we're all adults and there's enough of every type out here to where that's not even necessary. Like there are men that really will just spend money on you.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a certain type. There's things that go with that, but there are, men that'll just spend money on you and are okay with that. But
what do you take from that type of man? If you don't mind me asking, we call that a simp. And we call that a simp when a man is willing to buy you anything, take you anywhere, and you haven't actually earned that from him with your affection or just being there for him in general. How do you see that?
If women are being really honest, I don't think most women actually respect a man that is like that. And I think there's two different types. There's the ones that will spend money on and they're objectifying the woman and she's just like a toy for them.
Right.
And then there's the ones that really are
trying to buy his way in, just trying his best to earn any type of affection from her.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of those men, there's a lot of those women who allow that to happen, right? So that's why I take what Jay doing here as being something that is great for men everywhere, okay? He knew his worth. You are a beautiful woman. But he said, you know what? I'm just going to take her home. I don't have to do this. Yeah. Even to the point when you said, I will go eat with you at Cheesecake Factory. He saw it as, I would have set aside the date, right? Us being late to that reservation. You're not holding my hand. You're not talking to me in the car. But it seems that you pulling out that camera really, really got to him. Do you mind telling me what you probably took by that? You're just on a date and all of a sudden now she's recording you.
A lot of times, if I'm the one asking a girl out.
I'm surprised you haven't asked, why did you pull out the camera? Why did you pull out the camera should be part of the question.
That's me already offering to pay for the meal, right? That's me already being okay with that, right? But her recording me did feel like that's where I felt like she was trying to take advantage. She was trying to and maybe you had a different view on it, but it felt like at the time that you were just trying to get food, like a free meal from a fancy restaurant, and then you get content from me too to post on YouTube, Facebook.
Coffee pod.
And you get your reputation ran through the mud. So it's all be done at your expense, right? Now, that wasn't your take. You have many groups where you encourage women on dating. Y'all talk about dating. Right. And this was something that you said, look, y'all see a lot of dates go wrong. Right. So based on your mindset, you really felt like he was taking you somewhere beneath your value. Yeah. And you were saying, I'm going to show the world how you're treating me, right? Can you tell us a bit about that so he knows that, it wasn't to embarrass you. It wasn't to...
This woman's a dating coach?
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
So he knows that, it wasn't to embarrass you. It wasn't to, get content, any of that. It was, I felt wronged in that scenario. You mind?
No, I did. I felt like you didn't see my value. And, in that moment, I felt like I needed the support of my viewers in that moment. And not only that, like he said, I discuss relationships and things like that. So I thought that was a good opportunity for me to kind of have that conversation and see, like, what does everybody else think? I wasn't really taking your feelings into consideration. I wasn't trying to be necessarily malicious or anything like that.
I understand.
Yes, you were.
I'm gonna say this, guys, to end this video, okay? In a world with hookup culture, not having much understanding on relationships based on how we're raised, and then you got social media with the instant gratification and making it so easily to meet people and replace people. Dating it's like a thing that's lost to us. I want to ask these two beautiful people here a question. They had one date that went bad. They have not went on a date since that day. Right now, would you guys be open to another date, knowing what you know now?
I think if we were able to find a way to get our values more in the center, I could see us trying again.
I mean, yeah, I would be willing to go out on a date again.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Listen, we want to keep up with this first date. Actually, we're going to take care of this first date. It's going to be on us. So we're going to send you somewhere just like they used to do on all those other talk shows. We're going to take care of it. And then we'll reach back to you guys in a couple of weeks and find out how that's going. How does that sound?
One.
Find out if you got those cheeks. Let me be mature. Let's keep watching.
Let's see what you guys are up to.
As long as it's not the cheesecake now.
Oh.
She is funny, man.
Straight to pound down.
I like it. All right. Guys, this was an amazing episode of The Truth Factory. Hopefully you guys learned something.
All right, guys, so that's it. Let's check out some of these comments, man. Of course, I'm curious to know what you guys think. First commenter here says, shout out to Kevin Wesley, The Truth Factory. You can search him on YouTube and you can find the original video that we just reacted to. Check out some of these comments. First comment here says, he absolutely did put his best foot forward in that video. He did everything right. I'm saying this as a woman, this chick says, stood up for himself and he did it respectfully. If I were going on a date with him, I would appreciate and notice that he didn't become verbally abusive when faced with conflict. Another commenter here says, also, she never eventually agreed to eat at Cheesecake Factory. She was very selfish. She goes on to say she disrespected him by making him wait an hour, using him for content, locking herself in his car and not being willing to get out, shaming him, etc. She says she's not a user and doesn't like users, but she seems to be a user in my opinion. This woman says, just because a man doesn't spend a lot of money on you or take you someplace expensive does not mean he sees you as not worth it. She's not gonna change. I don't think another date is a good idea. I don't want his heart to get broken. Well, unless he's trying to break her back. Let me quit. Let me chill. What do you guys think? Is another date a good idea or not? Another comment here says, I feel bad for this gentleman. He's around my age. I had something similar happen to me in reverse. Oh, this stuff is happening. It hurt so bad, this guy says, and it took a while to heal. But as a female, I would never break any man's heart. It is not fair. Each man deserves tender love and care. I would go out with this gentleman and he would be, I'm assuming that goes on to say, treated well. Another comment here says she really didn't care about him. She just wanted a free meal. Somebody else here says, he said, did you guys have a second date? She said, no, not yet. I caught that. In what world does she think he's going to deal with her attitude? A lot of men were left with a bad taste in their mouths. Good luck, lady. A lot of men will see you after this and cross the street. You effectively disqualified yourself from a whole generation. Ladies, take notes. This is true. A whole generation of men who are looking to be in serious relationships for sure. Somebody else here added, I really like how you, the interviewer, make such positive interview out of this bad situation. This is great. That's a good interview. Somebody else here added, she wasn't that receptive. She was still trying to clown for her audience and got embarrassed. That's all. Somebody else here says her mindset is all wrong. That princess mentality doesn't contribute building something together. She offers nothing positive but attitude instead of kindness and pleasantness. Her insult on Cheesecake Factory is an insult on him. Another gentleman here says she only agreed to this interview to redeem herself. I see right through her bull. Men, please don't give women like this a second chance. I agree with that statement. I don't think you should deal with her at all, in any sense whatsoever. This chick will be a headache. And the fact that she films stuff and likes to go online, he shouldn't go on that date. He should cut her off. This gentleman goes on to say, if they have truly learned a lesson, let them move on and see if they can treat the next person better. Another commenter here says, my gosh, look at how he still shows respect for her. Apologizing when he says she felt uncomfortable. And also he corrected Kevin when he got her name wrong. Somebody else here says, this interview was needed. It's great. And they talked it out. And they seemed very respectful throughout the interview. Good for them. Somebody else here says, finally, someone smart enough to interview the folks going viral on these horrible dates. I always wanted to see people in controlled sessions to get an understanding as to what's going on mentally. This will be a great teaching moment if all is calm. Hope y'all tune in and take notes. Another person here says, how can someone know your value if you don't allow them a chance to know you? Well, that's because every woman today believes that they are valuable regardless of what they do, say, or bring to the table. That's the math that they're doing. Commenter goes on to say, she kept saying, I don't trust you to allow you in my apartment or hold your hand, but you get in the car with him when you lock him out his own car. Here's another comment that says he's adorable and an obvious catch. Bet she is regretting her decision to take an hour long. He handled it perfectly in my opinion. She was definitely rude for someone who was late. Here's somebody else, a chick who says he was not asking for you to pay for your plate. He was actually courting you the proper way. Now guys, to end things off, here's a video of her going into detail talking about what she thinks now that she's gotten backlash from this whole situation.
Hey guys, this is Alicia. It's been a while, but there have been quite a bit of things on my mind. I believe that many of you have seen the, now viral video about me choosing to reject the Cheesecake Factory because I wanted more from my date. I want to, let me say this. It's interesting to me that just how a moment in time, right, can shape how so many view you. And so I want to talk about, I'm trying to remember, bear with me guys, I wrote down some notes so I can remember everything I want to say. I watched the comments, the shares that you guys, the opinions that you guys had. And I have reflected on all of them, processed all of them that I was able to read. Many of you have been vocal about how entitled I was, how I misused this man. And I want you to understand that my mission has always been for women, to empower women, for women to feel respected, cared for, not be misused, or abused, right? I've seen and heard many a horror story, men and women, not just women, men and women. And I wanted to make sure that this was a topic that we brought attention to. Many of you interpreted within, interpretations that I saw. I want you to understand that this was never about exposing or embarrassing anyone. The purpose was to spark discussion, to foster learning and growth, right? But I've seen some interesting interpretations. And it has caused me some more questions. There have been some hurtful comments. People wanting to come for my job. It's interesting to me how angry someone can get about something, things that don't directly affect them to the point where you want to be harmful, right? All while screaming respect. But because I am one who loves to discuss things, right? Who's always open to learn and grow, I've decided to sit down for an exclusive interview with Kevin Wesley. So guys, you're going to get your opportunity to talk with me and Jay a bit more. And we're just going to have a dialogue. I mean, so tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? Tune in to Kevin Wesley's platform on YouTube and Facebook. So it will be live on YouTube and Facebook. Like I said, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, thank you for your time. I hope you take this opportunity to come so that we can have some more dialogue. It's all about growing and learning. See you tonight.
Listen, guys, as always, I'm curious to know, what do you think of this episode? Leave your comments down below. As always, I appreciate you checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.